So we're gonna start now. We're recording anyway. John needs a few minutes. Aura's about to come on. Annalyn is taking meeting notes. We're doing our second board meeting of the year, 2020. We're setting goals for the organization, and we're gonna first evaluate what we have in terms of numbers. In terms of finance, I have that now, which is really sad. Actually, I don't really want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it briefly. And then we'll go from there.
Almost.
Oh yeah, perfect. And Aura's on, so that's good. Okay. All right. So if you want to access meeting notes with Annalyn, you can also go on our chat in this particular Zoom meeting and click on the docs, but Annalyn's currently taking notes right now. Welcome, Aura. Okay, so yeah, let's get started right away. I'm first gonna showcase where we're at, and from there we could have a group conversation as to what our goals are for 2020, because I feel like we can't really set realistic goals until we know where we're at currently. So the first thing I want to show you, I'm going to share screen, is our analytics on Google Ads. So thanks to a group of committed volunteers last year, namely Carson, namely Ezra, and a few others, and myself and Annalyn, we have put together a campaign that we're now currently optimizing. So in our campaign, we have a few personas from our real-time board last year, which is currently locked thanks to the fact that they suddenly want us to pay a subscription for it. So I'm not doing that yet until we get finances. So, but we have the personas. So here we go. For each campaign, Aaron's campaign last quarter, actually first quarter of 2020, fourth quarter, just kidding, fourth quarter of 2019, these are the impressions and these are the clicks we're getting from the campaigns. And if you're looking at how we're optimizing it, I just optimized this today as well. So it's basically we're focusing on confidence, journaling, and whatnot. I've recently, literally just this week, posted this link as the landing page so that we could start getting more traffic and clicks. As you can see, people aren't, the call to action isn't until here, join Act 1. So I don't even know if our landing page is optimized currently for faster conversion. So that's another thing that I'm learning, is how to convert, how to optimize your landing page for conversion. And another thing, I'm trying not to go too much into detail because I could really just go down a rabbit hole. So just to give you an overview of AdWords, we look at the keywords and we optimize over time as the campaign continues. We're going to optimize for things that are creating higher conversion rates, click-through rates, which is different than conversion. We don't have conversion because we haven't learned how to set up conversion, because we literally just started like Act 1. Like we can now technically set up conversion because now we have something to convert, because we just, you know what I mean, right? We just got our producers program. So the next step would be to use some codes, HTML codes on this and that, which is this platform and our Love Story platform, so we could track conversions, and then it'll become even more optimized. But this is where we're at. So this is just Aaron. This is the overview of Aaron. And again, Google gives us $10,000 a month So that's where we're at. We're not using Facebook. We're not using, anything else, because all we have right now is our grant. And I feel like if we could just really optimize our Google ads, we can start seeing some kind of conversion. Because if we're already getting 3,000 clicks just for Aaron's campaign, and then I'm like starting to change all the landing pages, hopefully we'll convert faster. So here's Beverly's. Beverly's, not so much. She's probably not optimized yet. But as you can see, this is how I optimize. I just learned this, by the way. So, these are the keywords people search in Google. How to heal a broken heart and the science behind it. Now, do we have science behind it? Probably not. I could either add this as a keyword or a negative keyword. A negative keyword essentially means if they type that specific thing, don't show our ads because it's not relevant. Overwhelmed might be a keyword for us because we do want people who feel overwhelmed to traffic our website. So this is how we optimize over time. I'm just kind of giving you a understanding of this. And then look, we could start analyzing keywords, like the highest click-through rate is misunderstood. So I'm like, great, then we could optimize our landing pages, the copy later. If this is what most people are clicking on, it could mean that, we need to focus on that as like the marketing funnel. So we need to focus on funnels. All right, so that's Beverly. That's the overview of Beverly. All right, let's check out Christina. Christina has a lot. Oh no, yeah. Okay, 13,000 impressions, 1,800 clicks. And then she has her own keywords: betrayal, broken, expression. And we're optimizing that. Kim Jason. I'm skipping journal your heartbreak because that's like a smart ad, which is, I won't talk about it, but it's basically like artificial intelligence kind of stuff. They're trying to, I don't know if it works. All right, so Kim Jason is about 181 clicks, 2,000 impressions. And that's because we don't have enough keywords under her. Again, this is pretty unorganized, but we're going to optimize it over time. 8,000 impressions, 894 clicks. Oliver, we're looking at fourth quarter, first quarter. Oh, we're already starting first quarter. Okay, fourth quarter was 4,000 impressions, 500 clicks. Rorsch, he's 700 clicks, 7,000 impressions. And then I'll give you an overview in just a second. I'm gonna make this quicker. Samantha, 1,000 impressions, 100 clicks. T, 38 impressions, 428 clicks. So these are the people who click on the ad. And then that doesn't say anything for us. It just means they clicked on the ad. So it'll probably go to the landing page, but from the landing page, we don't know if they're actually converting, if they're actually, how long they're staying in our landing page, when they're clicking out. So these are some of the challenges we're going to have. And this, of course, goes into digital marketing, like, what is the optimal landing page? What are some of the different, how can we match our personas with customized landing pages, which we could do, but that's like, 2020 stuff. All right, so overall, I don't know if they'll give us an overall. Let's see, all campaigns. Maybe if I click on that. There we go. All right, so overall, last quarter, we had 200,000 impressions and 27,000 clicks. So if we could optimize, let's just say conversion is 10%. Okay, let's just be conservative. Let's say it's 5% conversion rate. Okay. If we are doing our work with digital marketing and learning how to optimize our landing pages, then you're looking, I'm going to attempt to do mental math. So I'll just start with 10%. 10% would be around, I can't do mental math.
What are you trying to figure out?
I'm trying to figure out what 5% of 27,000 would be.
What percent? What percentage are you looking for?
5% of 20.
Of 27,000?
Mm-hmm.
Well, 10% would be 2,700, so 1,350-ish.
Thank you.
Yep.
There's our math person. Yeah. Yes. So we're looking at about, if we're doing our jobs, like that would be how much we would convert per quarter. What John just said. What is it? 1,300?
1,350, yeah.
1,350. 1,350.
Why 27,000? I thought you said 97,000 clicks per quarter.
No, I was breaking that down. Okay, so this is overall. This is overall fourth quarter. Yeah. See, campaign status all. So I'm looking at the numbers from last quarter, and it's looking like there's 27,000 clicks, and I'm just being conservative in my conversion rate. I'm saying out of 27,000 people who's landed on our webpage, I'm assuming conservatively that 5% are converting. 5% of the 27,000 are looking at our landing page like, ooh, this might be something I want to try. Oh, it's only $1. Okay, why not? So we're looking at conservatively 1,300 a quarter that will pay $1. So if we could get 1,300 people per quarter, that will definitely cover our quarter expenses in terms of most basic expenses. So here we are in terms of, okay, so now I'm gonna just go into our bank account. For this, so we had one grant. It took us 5 years to get one grant, and that grant was only possible because I have a friend who was dating a guy that is in a foundation. Their family runs a foundation, so I shared my project to her, and she put in a good word, and then so they granted us $2,000. So that 2,000 lasted us, I don't know how long, but it lasted us. So we've been spending our money on MailChimp, which is about $20 a month. And I need to like get back on that MailChimp, because people do subscribe to our MailChimp, like, journal once a week, that kind of stuff. I already put together me and Pedro put together like a campaign for that. Speaker is our podcast. So we're growing that. So Annalyn, you and I need to talk more about that, on how to make it more publish more. All right. So Amazon is giving us some royalty thanks to the journals, the producer's playbook. So that's good. That's a plus. SiteGround hosting, $85. Okay. Yeah. So there's a few things we spent on. Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. Any questions? We have $2 left for 2020.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I saw Ingram Spark down there. I've been looking at Ingram's. Wait, am I unmuted? Oh yeah. Are you doing the Ingram Spark catalog thing?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
How does that work? Is it actually, it's an actual, like, you're in a catalog and then that gets sent, you know?
To all the bookstores that are looking at
Okay.
what they want to purchase. Yeah. To hopefully get our books in the bookstores.
So you have like an ad and stuff already then for that.
I think only for the love story journals.
Okay.
And I'll get back to you on what I actually spent it on. It's either the producer's playbook or the love story journals. I could have, yeah, it's either one of the two.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't used it. I just thought that I don't know. Hopefully that would bring in some more business, but I mean, I guess it depending on how the ad is, you know what I mean, or what it looks like in there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so.
So I'm gonna close this one out now. So basically where we're at is we have like bare bones, we have $85 for hosting plus $20 for MailChimp. So we're looking at bare bones $105 per month. And if we could get 1,300 people to convert, then that per quarter, then that will definitely cover 4 months of just server and MailChimp, right? And hopefully we'll have a surplus and then we can decide as a board what to spend that on. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I think our main focus at this time is, well, we'll discuss it. Okay, so any other thing? Oh yeah, I want to show you the back end of the Love Stories webpage so you could see some numbers here. So every time I go in, the first thing I do is I look at Monster Insights and I look at like how many people traffic our website for that day. So as you can see, it changes, it fluctuates. And then I look at like how many people are reading our journal entries. And sometimes it shows what they're looking at and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know how that works. And then I look at what the top posts are, right? And it'll change as we start optimizing the Google AdWords, because it's all connected. Google AdWords, this is the Google Analytics widget that Monster, a third party. Anyway, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Okay, so we have 321 people subscribe on MailChimp for Journal Intensely once a week. So I could probably market to them first for Producers Act 1. Hey guys, like we have a special, blah, 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 right? I'm very surprised. This is overwhelming. Like this, contact us. I don't know. I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, I think it's mostly spam, thank God. But some of them are not, and I haven't looked through these. Some people are definitely sincere and want to participate. And I just don't have bandwidth to respond at this point.
I was just reading some of those descriptions.
Yeah. Like this one's authentic, right? Like I saw application and make and produce a short film, and that was from Way Up, and I need to probably take that down for now. But it's a good way to gauge interest. Let me go back. Let's look at forms again. So 85 people, and again, this is all MailChimp, which is why we need that monthly subscription. 9 people are interested in the showcase, 85 people are interested in the Journal Artist Producers Program, so I can market to them. So I can market to 85 already and 321 that subscribe to journaling and people who are interested in the journal artist. So not so much the documentary producers program yet, but I don't have I took out the landing page for that. So who knows? But I feel like that's important. Yeah, let's just, any questions about this so far? Okay. I'm probably going to get rid of the love story creative application because we're not technically accepting any more internships, volunteers, and we're definitely not hiring anybody anytime soon. So, you know, so I'm probably going to take that down. Yeah. So that's hard numbers. You're looking at hard numbers here. All right. So that said, let's go back to our meeting minutes. Let me find where that is. Trying to navigate. Oh, I gotta stop share. Okay, hold on. Oh, good. All right, here we go. All right, so what are our goals for 2020?
Well, definitely to get volume 3 like finished and up.
Yes.
That
could be done actually sooner than later if we put our focus to it, honestly. How do you feel about doing one more?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'd love to do another one. I mean, I have like all my camera equipment that I haven't used yet, you know, because I got all of that, and then but yeah, I guess I could try reaching back out to Mir One and see if he, because I was speaking with his partner, and I know actually that Peter's boss was going to commission that artist to do like a mural up here in Tahoe. So we were like, oh, well, that would be really cool if I could interview him up here.
Yeah. So we'll go into detail about that in our meeting
later. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, overall, I'd love to do another one for sure. So,
and I'm gonna encourage Annalyn to do one as well for volume 3 because Annalyn now has her degree in that, so
cool.
She could get her feet wet with producing a documentary, and that will give me the opportunity and motivation to put together a documentary producers Act 1, and it won't be as hard as putting the journal artist Act 1 because all I got to do is like look at what I've already done with the journaling thing and just replicate it for the documentary, you know what I mean, and just add in new assets, which has already been created from like 2 years ago. So we can actually, so that brings me to the point of goals for 2020 is like we can actually launch an Act 1 for documentary producers, and Act 1 would mostly focus on people. Here's where I'm conflicted. Okay, okay, so once upon a time ago I actually had a documentary director, Kevin Kerslick, as my mentor for like a very short period of time, like 6 months, maybe a year. And one of the things he told me was to be careful in terms of protecting our brand reputation, right? So it's like we can't just let anyone start going around pitching to artists on behalf of the love story. And if they're not like kosher, you know what I mean? If they're being rude or disrespectful or whatever, it reflects on our company. And that's Kevin Kerslick has been doing documentary filmmaking for quite some time. He's documented Nirvana, Lana Del Rey, Green Day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So one of his golden wisdoms that he's imparted to me is like, you gotta like, you can't be so, like blase about just, you know, opening it up. But it's like, it's something that, because if we're pitching to artists, it takes a level of trust and integrity, right? And that kind of stuff needs to be built over time. So I was even thinking for at least the initial Act One, right? Because Act One for journaling is like anybody could join for $1, right? So I was even thinking Act One, Act Two, Act Three for the documentary producers program are people that are interested in documenting their own lives first, to do their own documentaries. And this is what Annalyn kind of gave me that seed, and same with Amy. When I was talking to G Adventures, she linked me to G Adventures, and I was talking to Jill, who represents G Adventures, because they're the ones that curate these adventures. And I'm like, well, what's like, that's the best time to document your journey. If you're going to Peru, like, here's your iPhone, you know what I mean? Like, and then we could teach them how to start curating. And you've seen some of my work with Diary of a Crazy, my vlogumentary. And so maybe for the documentary producers, Act 1, 2, and 3 could just be about setting themselves up powerfully to do documentary filmmaking for their own lives, like a vlogumentary. And then as they get better, and we filter the people, you know what I mean? People that we feel are reliable, are trustworthy, are consistent, they could apply to become, to be in that moment of pitching to whoever they want, like Selena Gomez. For John, it would be Yoko Ono, and but they'll already understand at least the basics of documentary filmmaking, editing, etc. Pitching, producing. What do you think? This is just an idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to like vet people and just kind of feel it out and everything, for sure. Because you can get an idea of like their voice and their perspective, and not to like compare personal journeys as far as like importance to that person, but as far as like, I think you're right for sure, as far as protecting and creating a brand.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have like you definitely want to make sure that that person is kind of has similar goals, or what I mean, I guess is kind of like on the tip of like, all right, healing and like self-reflection and transformation. And and some people might, as they're kind of documenting their own journey, they might kind of like grow. Like maybe we could even give them, there would be tips, and some people at first might not seem, maybe wouldn't like stick out as like, oh yeah, that person's definitely like the love story like brand, you know what I mean? But then they might kind of like grow through their journey, and then I don't know. I think it's a great idea as far as
or we could do 2 tracks simultaneously. You know what I mean? Like I'm because you're a great story. Like you came in just like ready to do the whole pitch and write your own letters. Like you did the curriculum down to a T. You followed it through. Amy did the same. So gosh, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not for sure. This is not like solidified. We're still in the brainstorming process. So, it worked for you. It worked for Amy, right? Like And it's artists that you care about, local to you. So in that context, I could see like a like just people coming in like, hey, I want to interview my next door neighbor who happens to be a painter, a writer, whatever, like, so I could see what I'm trying to avoid is a funnel, a bottleneck. So on the one hand, we do want to protect our reputation. So I like what you said, Aura, about having a sense of where people are. So that's where I'm at right now. What, like, in terms of the Documentary Producers Act 1, my question to the board is, or maybe we could pose it to the community, I don't know, is do we want them to start documenting their own stories or go straight into pitching for the publication? I'm just leaving it there as a question mark. Do we want Act 1, where it's like documenting your own story, or pitching for the publication, or pitching for the lovestory.org, right? Don't know. But yeah, I'm glad you support me on that, Aura, on the idea of like doing it as a documentary. And then later, we don't know. Does that make, yeah, go ahead.
I think also it just kind of, it also will give you a sense, and it will give the other people a sense of if they have the time and commitment. I mean, that's like first and foremost, do they have the time and commitment to even do it? And if they're like, oh no, well, I don't really want to, if they kind of start documenting themselves and they're like, this isn't for me, no harm, no foul. They practice on themselves, and that's
That's
it.
what I was thinking. You're right. Or that's kind of where I was getting at. Because I remember like one of our biggest struggles last half year with the Documentary Producers Program, at least for me and Amy, when we first started vetting people, is that people would onboard, but then they drop out. Like in the middle of the night, just ghosted us. And we're just like, what happened, And so I feel like, no, if we're gonna be serious about it and make this a legitimate publication, which it is, and we're serious about anthologizing it, then we need serious players. We want people that really are committed and they want to benefit from this and they want to get published. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we had that conversation. Anything else in terms of goals for 2020?
No.
Hey, did we ask?
No?
That was Zion.
No, it would be so good if that was it. Like, yeah, I agree with.
Okay.
I was looking at the what's highlighted there in yellow. If we have a 5% conversion rate from what Google Analytics displays, then we're probably onboarding about 1,300 people a quarter. I guess, first of all, do we have a way to really know that? And if so, then, how do we make that number bigger?
Oh, you mean, do we have a way to guarantee 1,300 people a quarter?
Yeah, I mean, do we have a way of knowing that there are actually 1,300 people a quarter?
Yeah, because
okay, so that's a fact.
Yeah. Because once they hit submit, we have their data on our back end.
Okay, so I guess what I would say is, we obviously we always want that number to be higher, that 5%.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do that? I think the dollar membership that you're running for the year 2020 may help, but that's something that we're always going to want to to be concerned with, because as the brand gets stronger, you know, a stronger brand means more people converting, right?
Right.
More people hitting submit. So, I mean, I think that's just something we should always have our sights on, is what can we do to help that number grow.
Yeah.
And one thing that sort of makes me think of, Mingjie, I sent you a message on this. Let me see here. The AdWords,
Right. The
right?
AdWords. So we need
Okay, so
AdWord optimization.
where do those words come from? I mean, do we choose those words? Do you choose those words?
Yep.
Because when I first saw that list of words, I muted my microphone and went away for a minute, because looking at that list, it made me think of, well, I wonder what people find when they Google "I suck."
Oh yeah.
Because that, you know, that mentality is a big part of of getting there.
Right.
So, and I was kind of surprised at what I found. Something to consider. You know, these AdWords, you know, we need to always be looking at what they are and how we can make them further reaching.
Right. So I'm glad you bring that up. So okay, so one of the things we need, okay, so right now we're just exploring